Hello guys, welcome. I think a few people are still coming, but I think we can slowly start. Maybe in just a second or in a minute, yeah? Welcome, please. Can everyone hear us?
Crystal clear?
Good, good.
No?
Excellent.
Are you on the right theater?
It's a theater 1.
Yeah.
You just need to select the channel.
Can you all hear me? Ah, perfect.
Excellent. What's happening? Okay.
Let's get going, yeah?
Perfect. Yep. Excellent. Let's get started. Thank you guys for coming and welcome here. Are you all excited after yesterday's night out? Who had trouble waking up this morning?
Trouble finding an aspirin.
Yeah, me too. Many thanks for coming. We are so excited to be here. This is Tableau on SAP, Deloitte Supply Chain Solution. This is Bikas, and my name is Beso here.
Hi.
I'm one of those Tableau geeks who is crazy about Tableau and try to solve all the issues and problems with Tableau or using Tableau. I've been working with Tableau for 5-6 years now. I'm using it mostly every day. I've used it in many different scenarios with different systems and in nearly all business industries. And I'm always very keen to figure out what else we can do with Tableau, right? And that's why SAP is one of these topics which I personally find that is not really leveraged that much with Tableau, or we are not really getting as much as possible. Since my first attendance in Tableau conference in US 2 years back, I always had a feeling that we did not really cover that much from Tableau and SAP perspective. So there were a few very interesting sessions in there, and I think in London last year and also here today, we had 1 or 2 very interesting sessions. But what I was always feeling to add more was to get the business context of how exactly we could leverage Tableau, SAP with Tableau and get the business value of that. And that's actually where we, with Bikas, teamed up to show some of those excellent examples and share with some experience with you. Those that we are doing at Deloitte. And Bikas happens to have an enormous experience in SAP with architecting and delivering.
Yeah.
And from my side, I'm focusing on Tableau mostly. So that's why we teamed up, and now we're going to show you some very excellent examples, and we'll try to share what we actually do with that, so that maybe you can also take some examples or ideas with you and maybe bring it back to your business and drive some changes in there. Yeah?
So this is my first time in a Tableau conference, and it's really exciting to see the culture, the environment. I've been to many, let's say, SAP conferences, and okay.
It's different. Let's put it. It's different.
This is much better. I feel more comfortable here. Who all are here for the first time? Ah, okay, like me. Okay, good.
I see a lot of hands. Yeah.
Okay, so I can imagine all of you had a last good night, and I just want to check whether all of you are in senses. I have prepared a small warm-up quiz. It's quite easy. Let's see who all are still out of yesterday night's party, yeah?
Yeah, we'll try to keep you awake. So let's start with the warm-up quiz, and then we'll jump into the exciting stuff. I'm really not sure if this works, but I'll give it a try. If not, then I'll switch to the. Let's give it a try. All right, let's go with the old school. So.
Okay, so the first question is, I already see a lot of people are from different countries here. Can you guess how many countries are there in the world?
A simple one.
You have to speak a little louder because I cannot hear you. Anyone? 206. Okay, anyone? 164. Anyone else? Okay.
You Googled, right?
You have an Alexa. Okay, let's have a look at it. You're the closest.
According to Wikipedia, though, so you cannot take any.
Maybe there are some countries people are putting flags, they're claiming it's my country, but.
That's a different story. Yeah.
Okay, now let's see, out of 195 countries, which countries SAP is doing business in? Any guesses? How much?
100?
190? 80? Okay. Any more guesses? 120? Let's have a look.
120. Good guess.
It's 180. So you can see SAP is there almost in all the countries except few. Maybe next year they're already there. Okay, now let me ask a little bit trickier question. Now, okay, I see that some of them are really smart guys in the room. What is the total population of Germany and France? Approximate.
Oh, just a guess. 100, 140. Is a good
150?
guess? 140 here.
140, okay. 145? 148? Let's have a look.
I like that. Nearly 145. So you guys were very, very close.
Very close. I was thinking a lot of people would answer it wrong, but I'm wrong this time.
Yeah, we should work on that.
Now let me ask. Do you know what is the total user base of SAP Cloud systems? What is the total number of user base in SAP Cloud?
Just cloud, not on premise.
On the
give
cloud.
a guess.
80 million?
Okay, 80 million.
Any other? 90 million?
All right. Any other ideas? No ideas.
Okay, let's have a look.
All right. So 80, 90, right?
195 million. So the idea behind this is now you know that SAP is quite prominent in all these countries, the huge user base. So it means that there are a lot of enterprise SAP users day in, day out using SAP. And it's really important for their organization to run the business with SAP. And obviously there are many other technologies, but the idea behind is what Beso was saying. Tableau is really cool, but we haven't seen a lot of traction of Tableau in SAP in the recent past. Now you see SAP has a huge user base, huge country, and the idea for today's session is to bring both these worlds together to see how these things can work together beautifully. Yeah. And what we want to do is, by end of the session, there are some takeaways for you. You learn how SAP and Tableau are working together. We are also excited to show some cool business solutions that we have implemented in some countries, some clients. They are already giving them benefits of few million euros. So these are the big two takeaways that I would expect all of you to take from this session. And feel free to stop me in between to ask any questions. By the way, can I ask in this whole group who all are more into IT, development, delivery?
I see quite a few hands.
And rest of you are part of the business organization? Okay, perfect.
Sounds good.
Good, so it means we have some takeaways for the IT guys, we have some takeaways for the business guys, and both, okay? Good.
Okay.
So the first part, what we are trying to cover is a supply chain optimization solution. It's a full-blown big solution that we have built on Tableau, on top of SAP. Beso will show you a little part of it, and then we go through more technological things what are the challenges that we hear from our clients, okay, from different business communities, and what are our best practices and what we learned over the period of time, and those all things you can take away from us. Okay, Beso?
Perfect. Let's move on. So I will now jump directly to the demo, and we will show you some very nice visualizations that we built for our solutions. Actually, before I jump directly to the solution, let me just go very quickly through the full overview, full picture of what we delivered as a project, as a solution. What you currently see is a very holistic view of this entire solution, and as you see, all the dashboards here are based on Tableau. So Tableau is an integral part of the entire solution. Of course, there are lots of data coming in from different data sources, and SAP is the key data source in here. But a few others are coming, let's say sales and stuff, are also coming from other data sources. There is a huge backend work going on, and then we go into the details of that a bit later. But just for you to understand, this solution covers pretty much the entire business processes. You can see here the sales analytics part, which is covering all the business units, all the business activities related to sales. This one is, for instance, the view of the inventory excellence. And we will actually try to deep down into this one in just a second. But just for your understanding, this is what the solution looks like. Lots of dashboards which are bringing understanding and value to the clients, to the users, to make business-driven decisions, to understand what's behind the SAP data, and then visualize in Tableau. And Tableau plays so much important role in here, right? All right. Now with that, let me just directly jump into the demo, and we will show you. I think it's gonna work. One very cool visualization. Yeah. So what you see now here is a Tableau-based dashboard, which is supplied by SAP, and this is one of the examples of for inventory optimization. This one is, for instance, for the warehouse optimization solution, and imagine that this is designed for someone like supply chain leaders or in general or warehouse manager in particular. Yeah? So imagine if I'm a warehouse manager, I'm coming up and opening up this dashboard. What I have here is a layout map of the entire warehouse, and this one is, I think, more or less 30,000 square meter warehouse. This could be a distribution center or warehouse in general, could be anything. I have some performance metrics up here. I have some detailed charts on the right-hand side, and I'll get to this one in a second. Let's first take a look at what we have in the warehouse map here. Yeah? So the first insight and the most important thing for me as a warehouse manager is to understand how to optimize the space, how to optimize the travel time, how to optimize the workforce in my warehouse, right? So what I wanted to do to understand is how the space is used, right? So, and Tableau gives me this opportunity to build this kind of mapping. If you guys are not familiar how to, in Tableau you can actually have geographical maps, as well as you can also build this kind of layout maps, yeah? In here I have, let's say, on left side, on the right hand, well, from your left side, you have the staging area, the receiving or the dispatch area. You have the loading area in here, and the rest is like, for instance, a storage area where you can store different kind of products, different kind of product categories, or for different size and so forth. Yeah? Now, what I want to understand, let's say as an example for first step, is to understand how is the pickup activity is happening, where is the workflow is concentrated. Doesn't matter if it's a manual done or the automated done. I still want to understand where is it located. In that, what I'm gonna do in Tableau, again, a simple drop-down menu. I guess some of you are familiar with that. I can just pick up the different kind of metrics and pull in this map. So right now I have an empty map. If you take a look, it's just each of the boxes are separate data points, right? So you can do a selection, you can do all the interactivity that Tableau is created. And now I just want to bring some data, and that's what I'm going to do with SAP. So I'm pulling data from SAP, and I'm going to get this beautiful heat map in here. Now what it's going to show me, and I'll be showing you the side, but you can see it. What it shows me that the red color, for instance, demonstrates the high-level activity, pickup activity in that areas, and all the way the orange shadows to yellow, orange and yellow shadows, they showing the descending level of activity. And finally, the white one, of course, says that probably there is no activity at all from pickup perspective. Now, this is already a first step for me to understand where the workforce is concentrated and how it is distributed. And it's already clear that these areas up here or these areas up here are very heavily concentrated in terms of activity, while this part here are not. And that's already a huge insight for me because I want to actually understand what's happening in here. Also, if you look at that, this part is very close to the gates, to the docks, and probably it makes sense if I optimize it more optimally, right, or efficiently. For that, what I'm gonna do is to try to deep dive and understand what actually I'm storing in here, if I'm actually using. Maybe I'm not using it at all, right? So for that, I will bring a different data set, again, from the different table of the SAP, different database, which will now tell me what kind of products are stored and how much space are used, right? So in this case here, I have different coloring. Each color represents different product categories. And then the shades within the color indicates to me that this specific cell or shelf, whether it's fully occupied, or which in this case will be dark, of course, or it's half occupied or not occupied at all. For instance, what we see here is that this part, if you remember, there was no activity at all, even though there are lots of goods stored, right? Which already tells me that we are using the space, however, we are probably not really shipping any goods from there. Then probably I want to optimize the space, and maybe I want to store those items in the back, and those fast-moving items in the front, so I reduce the travel time and improve the efficiency, right? In that case, I will jump now to this part here, those charts on the right-hand side, and that's exactly what tells me which goods or products are fast-moving and slow-moving. Now, for those who are not familiar with warehousing, maybe it will be a bit hard, but yeah, I guess some of you know that fast-moving are those who are shipped very fast or stays in the warehouse maybe like few days, up to like less than months, I guess. And I'm actually very much interested in fast-moving because that's cost-efficient for us. All those that are slow-moving, of course, I want either to maybe get rid of that or store in a way that it will not take much of the space, right? Therefore, again, with Tableau, what we do is that we leverage that as much as possible to do all the analysis, either directly in Tableau or in the backend, and understand the fast and slow-moving items. For instance, we take every single row of every single item that's been scanned down in the warehouse, do the aggregation, do the calculation, and understand whether they are fast-moving or slow-moving. And then in Tableau, with just one simple click, I can actually see where are they located in my warehouse. And as I see here, those slow-movings are right in front where I would probably put something else in order to make it more efficient, right? Again, Tableau is excellent in that case. It's very intuitive, very interactive. All I just need is to do a simple click. And in that case, I'll just get to the answers so fast, so quick. On the other hand, we will need to do all the calculations, all the preparation in the backend, so we bring here right data to the right users, in my case for a warehouse manager, so that I just need just 1-2 clicks, just very short time of period to get to the answer, to understand what's going on, and then based on that, drive insights, drive actions, and improve my own business. Yeah.
Exciting, isn't it? So what you see here is like one part of this whole solution, and the underlying data is huge. So if we can quickly see the architecture behind this is, most of the time the supply chain, inventory, warehouse management, all these data are coming from the ERPs. In our case, it is SAP. We capture all the data, and based on the requirement, you can stream it if you need real-time information of goods movement, and store it in a warehouse. If the data is huge, you can also use data lake. So this is an exemplary architecture. So on the top you see Tableau, and behind there are so many different layers. And from client to client, technology, it varies a little bit. Sometimes you think, where do I do my predictive, where do I store my data? Can I take it directly from S4 HANA, so on and so forth. Yeah? So there are various different flavors of this architecture. But what we have also seen is, if you go to the next one, please. What we have also seen is with this architecture, because there are two different technologies. So in all my past projects, I reach out to some business people, some IT people. Also within IT, there are some developers, some data scientists, some admins, SAP side, Tableau side. And I hear so many different feedback. Some are challenges, real challenges, some are wish lists. So if you quickly see some of the key ones that I hear is, okay, as a business user, how can I do self-service with a detailed amount of data? How can I do real-time tracking? So the example that he was showing, okay, if my goods are moving and I want to track them real-time, how do I do it? Similarly, the typical question that I hear from SAP world is, should I do BW on HANA or native HANA? It's a typical SAP question. How can I do data science? Where do I do my predictive analytics, artificial intelligence topics? And also the question is, okay, there are other reporting tools that I'm already using. How can I use Tableau together? And then as an admin, you would say, how can I configure them together so I get the same authorization? All these questions. Yeah. So in general, the answer, let's say the answers are detailed, sometimes big. What I try to capture is some of the key learnings, or let's say categories of learnings. The number one is you need to set up the right architecture. Yeah. So the conceptual architecture that I had shown, so there is a legacy environment that you already have. Yeah. The moment you pull in Tableau and something else, you tend to think that, okay, I keep my existing as it is, and how can I just use it non-disruptively? Sometimes the answer is pretty simple, sometimes it's difficult. But the key here is you need to set up the right architecture to leverage the best of the both worlds. not to really challenge from both the worlds. Yeah, so Tableau is good at something, SAP is good at something. There are different flavors of SAP, different ways you can access the data. Try to leverage the strengths of both the technologies. Um, and what we also see is the SAP user base is huge, and in SAP you always have some kind of authorization. And the moment you introduce a reporting solution, you would like to leverage the same authorization. As a user, I want to see this plant, this country, this data, this finance or supply chain, whatever. You try to leverage the same user access authorizations. It's easy to use it. So these kind of are, let's say, categories of learnings that we have had, especially on the top one. There are very, very detailed tips and tricks, I would say. We have, if you have any questions, we can certainly help you out there. And the last part that we have seen is, the most important is how it can be adopted within the organization. So Tableau may be an existing reporting solution and HANA is new, or vice versa. And then you need to find like an ambassador or a champion within a community saying that, okay, hey, you're getting success and can you please tell to other 5 people, and they start using it. So things like those kind of solutions that Beso was showing, many times the solution, the visualization is really, really great, but it's the mindset of the user base. Sometimes they think, okay, I've been using my Excel, maybe I continue opening the SharePoint, or I go here. And the moment they hear from someone like a champion or an ambassador saying that, wow, it's really useful and I'm saving so much of time, I can find, like Beso was showing, like a needle from a big haystack, then you tend to adopt it. Yeah? So that's also most important, that irrespective of, you can have the best kind of architecture, but how do you bring both the user base together and make them start using the solution? Yeah. Maybe
Exactly.
Beso, you can.
No, I mean this last part is really, really very important, as you were mentioning. Yes, you remember yesterday in the keynote it was also mentioned that a data-driven culture is not that simple to get to,
Yeah.
and it takes time to get through that, so that people start using these intuitive tools to get the answers from that, right? And that's why I'm finding the data champion in there, it is 1 person or 2 person in the small group of the unit, is very important. So if you have a success story, that's what worked for us when we were doing this kind of projects for our clients. We were trying to find at least 1, 2 very smart champions who could actually then build a story, and then others could benefit of it, and that this could spread across the entire organization. Yeah. Okay.
So, thanks. So in general, what did we learn? So it was like a quick glimpse of 2 big things. The first thing is, you need to have some smart, intelligent solutions. Yeah. So you need to embed a lot of predictive analytics. You need to give the right kind of information at the right time. You need to make the solution more user-friendly. Then people start using it. They start realizing the values. In general, we have shown the supply chain solution from Deloitte. We have similar solution for finance, for HR, and so on and so forth. And a lot of customers are using it as a service sometimes, and sometimes it's like we build custom for them. But the key message is, you need to have this holistic solution which are linked from top-down KPIs to bottom drill down, embedding a lot of artificial intelligence, predictive analytics, giving the right information at the right time. That really helps. Yeah. And the second big takeaway, I would say, is the combination of Tableau and SAP. So maybe Beso, you can show how the smart visualization really work. And
absolutely. I mean, when we talk about Tableau, you understand that it's really very interactive, very cool, very fun thing to do. At the same time, it brings so much value, right? If you put that on SAP, you can get even harder in terms of getting as much as possible out of SAP. And there's so much data in there, and visualization helps in understanding that. It's to get into the faster to the answers. Sometimes when answers are already in there, all you just need to go into the right questions and to the right answers, and then based on that, you can actually have the very cool visualizations with people who are doing this in your organization. Yeah? And finally, just to highlight the part that if we bring together the SAP and Tableau together, you can actually achieve a lot. And the best practice that we just discussed here is, of course, a short time. We will be available in the booth over there, so we can share even more on that. But in that, I think we can conclude and open up for some questions and ideas if you guys have. The main idea for us was to inspire you, to give the ideas of how we're using it, so that you can take in your businesses and drive changes in there. So we would be more than happy to hear your ideas, your suggestions, your comments. Maybe you're also doing something similar, so it would be very interesting.